authored more insane pregame speeches. I could just see him having this guy's energy.
Yeah, the two of them, there's like too much right there to have them be friends. That would just be too much. Yeah, they're too similar in a way. I can't imagine enough room for them to have a conversation. I totally get what you're saying. Like, if there was an NFL player equivalent to that guy, it might be Jameis.
Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston. I could also see being friends with that
But
guy.
in reality, that guy probably does know Tommy DeVito, I imagine. Where's Tommy's from New Jersey, though? And this guy, where's this guy from originally?
Connecticut, right? That's where he lives at least. Those are good picks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm thinking like it's got to be like frat boy, pretty boy kind of thing. So like, and using New York, like Zach Wilson would have come to mind.
Zach doesn't have that kind of, I don't know. He doesn't have that edge to him, though. There's no edge.
I have a guy.
What about
it's a little
Rempey?
weird.
You're a dude on the Rangers.
I can see this guy being friends with Nick Sirianni.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. We're just going Italian names.
Yeah, he knows Nick Sirianni. Yeah. They partied in Jersey or something. They were on the shore. That I could see.
Yeah, maybe this is recency bias, but like if he was a Bosa friend, that might make sense.
Might have been a Bosa.
Like he just seems like a knucklehead. Like I need a guy that like is going to crush beer cans on his forehead.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
But it would be more Kittle than Bosa.
All right, I'll take Kittle too. I mean, similar thing.
Yeah.
Like party guys, wild, crazy, going to jump off of things, break stuff for fun. That
Is that Bosa? Because Bosa doesn't say anything. He mumbles into the mic. This guy seems loud and in your face.
Bosa's doing keg stands all the time.
George Kittle is openly doing
right.
Yeah, then in the Netflix show, Nick Bosa showed up at his party. It's like, oh my God, Nick Bosa's never showed up at a party. I think it's
a little more Joey Bosa.
Okay.
No, yeah, those guys they're kind of I think this has got Kittle written all
Actually,
over
the Bosa dad.
Jason Kelsey.
It's the Bosa dad.
Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
a little
fits.
Jason Kelsey could fit as well. There you go.
But I think you got to go Italian. Nick Sirianni and Tommy DeVito. What's his name again?
Austin Capobianco.
Definitely no Sirianni. Definitely.
I need to know more about Arizona club ice hockey.
Yeah, that.
Do you really?
Do they need that?
Is it really on ice?
There is a hockey team there.
No, I know,
Not
but like there's a lot of things to draw you Arizona. You don't need club hockey on the list of activities to get people to
Well, that's why
they're
there. Varsity hockey. Like, you never see New Hampshire take on Arizona in the Frozen Four or whatever.
Arizona State has a hockey team, like a real hockey team.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. That's who arena the Coyotes are playing in. That was the Sun Devils' home.
I just feel like, are you wondering if your career, I get it, you want to just continue playing hockey. I'm not denying anyone that, but it's like, well, I really wanted to go to Boston University, Boston College. I really wanted to go to, UVM, Vermont, but instead I got offered a scholarship to Arizona. Well, are they taking it that seriously out there?
This is club hockey. Yeah, this is just for fun. There's no scholarships.
That makes it even, I would say, worse.
It's almost like you're there for the weather and the ladies and the school and maybe basketball. You're like, oh, and I can play hockey at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night? Oh, sure. All right.
Just sort of shoehorned hockey.
Rage with Gronk. All right. Sign me up.
Tucson, too. That campus is so much fun.
It's beautiful.
That you're spending too many hours
in a rink.
In an ice hockey rink in Arizona.
Fake hockey.
Is crazy.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, got to be better things to do with your time. Bogusch has headlines for us on this Halloween. Hello.
They are sponsored by Mint Mobile. Switch and get half off unlimited premium wireless at mintmobile.com/score. There was not another home run last night from Freddie Freeman, but there was this.
And now another 1-2. Freeman to center field, base hit. Edmonds going to score. Here comes Will Smith. Freddie Freeman coming through again. A 2-run single, and the Dodgers are within 2.
That's Steven Nelson on Dodgers radio. Teoscar Hernandez followed with a 2-run double. The Dodgers fully erasing a 5-0 hole with 5 in the 5th. All those runs unearned because of those 2 Yankee errors, and Garrett Cole and Anthony Rizzo misplaying a Mookie Betts grounder to first. But LA did fall behind again, 6-5, until Gavin Lux and Mookie Betts hit sac flies top 8. Then Dave Roberts turned to Game 3 starter Walker Buehler for the save.
That happened within the game. 7th inning, he just said that he's going to be available. And, I didn't see him see that even coming into play. But obviously, as the game sort of went out, had it played on, we had to keep the game close, and our guys were fighting. And so I just felt that, at that point in time, I was going to be all in.
It's Bueller's first career save and his first relief appearance in 6 years. It got the Dodgers the 7-6 win, the 8th world title in team history. Freeman, the series MVP, finishing with 12 RBI, tying the World Series record. He did that on an injured ankle and months after a serious health scare for his son, Max.
I wish I'd never had to go through what we did as a family, but ultimately Maximus is doing really, really well right now. He's a special boy, but it has been a grind for 3 months. It really has. It's been a lot.
The Dodger victory parade is tomorrow. The Yankees' last title remains 2009, and now they work on re-signing Juan Soto. The prize of this offseason said at postgame he will listen to all 30 teams this winter.
All 30?
If they talk, he'll listen to them. Yeah. He said no doors are closed.
They got a new manager now.
Yeah.
Do you take your shot if you're one of those teams and be like, hey, we have great weather here in wherever, Arizona.
Definitely.
I only got 70 cents, but we got nice weather and club hockey.
I play college football. When I play the EA college football game, I'm always like Georgia Southern trying to get that 5-star who's looking at Alabama, being like, hey, man, we don't got a lot, but we got pride here.
You'll be the star here.
It's like, here's $600 million, but your contract is for 30 years. I mean, he didn't want to take deferred money from the Washington Nationals. I don't know if the Dodgers get into this. The Shohei deferred money is not going to fly with Juan Soto.
Like, we're going to pay you $200 million to your great-great-grandchildren.
It's $1 million a year for 200 million years.
I got a scenario. What if the A's decide, you know what, we're going to change our whole philosophy, and he's going to open up Vegas for us? How would you feel if you're an Oakland fan?
Oh, but that stadium's not happening for years.
Well, what is it? 2 years? Is it
more than that?
I think it's 3. But the bigger thing is that guy. That dude is paying nobody anything ever. There is no change of thought. This is what it is.
You're saying all 30 teams are not really in play?
No, I would say maybe 5 are. But he'll listen if you call. He'll be nice. He'll be nice if you want to pick up the phone and have a chat.
Is this like, remember when Ohtani was going to go to the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
For that?
That was wrong.
That wasn't even close.
Like, he wasn't ever...
Never even took the flight.
Right.
So to say that he was on the flight on the way there to
I
sign
hate that.
is insane.
Remind me who that report was again?
I don't remember who it was, but it's...
Yeah, I remember Arson Judge very well.
Yes.
Going to the Giants.
Hey, the Yankees, I guess, should thank him for that because it got Judge on the phone with Hal Steinbrenner.
Do you think if that report hadn't come out that he really would have signed with the Giants? Is that what?
No, I think it just got them to the table a little quicker. Man, what do you do with Judge's legacy right now? I mean,
how old is he? 30, 31?
He's 31. He is the captain. He was terrible in the postseason until he turned it around, gave you some hope, hits a home run, makes an all-time play in center field that they would have been replaying to the end of time had they actually come back and made this a series. And then he has the terrible error that opened the door and was the first error in the floodgates of the most embarrassing inning maybe in World Series history.
I think he took baby steps to killing this idea that he's such, defined as a postseason failure. Thank God he got a home run. Yeah. I mean, the error is, that's sort of it to me, and maybe you totally disagree. It's in a different category. Like the lack of hitting is the defining thing here. The error hurts, but the fact that he hit a home run and a double last night really helped. Otherwise, we easily could have, if he'd gone 0 for last night, we would have walked away from the series saying Aaron Judge let the Yankees down. Don't you think that would have been the number one story?
I think you could still make the case that he did.
He did.
Yeah, I feel like the 5th inning helped.
But hurt.
It helped.
It helped in the sense that that's now the story.
Oh, yes.
Right, but he started it.
Yeah, he's part of that.
But he didn't start at the plate. Thank God.
But he started the worst inning in recent, if not all, Yankee history.
Yeah, I disagree with that, Pearl. I think he still looked at it as a playoff failure because of that inning and him being the reason why that happened.
I can separate. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I can separate an error from just an incredible lack of effectiveness at the plate. I mean, it's been a really, what were the numbers? Like 1 for something crazy.
Abysmal. No, totally
abysmal. 1 for 25 or something.
Yeah, right. Like these are all time. I will tell you, Kershaw finally, toward the end of his career, fix some of that stuff. I think I wouldn't give up on Judge.
By the way, you guys way harsh on Kershaw with no shirt on.
I looked, by the way, I actually looked, I was like, oh, I dig that body. He's not that chubby. He's not Mahomes in the offseason.
Oh,
Maybe I'm looking at
I saw a word that you don't understand, that you didn't know existed. I saw moobs.
I have a picture from my friend who was there. It's pretty bad.
Is it? Okay.
From inside the clubhouse?
No, he was on the field. Just
so
shirtless.
I Googled Kershaw shirtless. I have to tell you, I think I might have got an older photo because there's a lot going on here.
The video I saw was Dave Roberts' speech in the locker room before they started spraying champagne. He's right to the right of the screen. And
he had the shirt off before they started spraying the
couple
champagne?
guys did, yeah.
That's just guys who take their shirts off all the time. We all know a few.
Wait a minute. This guy brought his whole family to this game?
Who?
Kershaw.
Why not? He's a legend.
Oh, come on,
Kershaw
man.
He's been there for 15
EJ, come on,
years,
man.
It's free
EJ.
tickets.
Come on.
He brings his family everywhere, too.
Oh, I don't know if those tickets are free.
Really?
No, I think they.
I feel like in
players
his
pay for 'em.
contract.
You guys know he went to high school with Matthew Stafford?
When's the last time
Never heard that.
Facts. Highland Park. Played
I heard
football.
that Stafford was the catcher. Or was who was the catcher again? Was it Kershaw or was it Stafford?
I don't know. Kershaw played football. I know that. Did
Stafford was his catcher, I'm pretty sure.
Stafford play baseball? He was probably amazing, by the way.
I'm sure he's probably good at everything. But you guys were super harsh on Clayton Kershaw.
I think he looks fine.
Is he 40?
I got to see this picture.
He's like 36.
Somebody
or something.
emailed me the picture.
I have the video. I have his video. He looks fine. He looks fine.
Does he look like I mean, you're telling me that he can't be at the game because he's not pitching, and now you're defending his out-of-shape body?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Standing on 10.
It's the moves that got you.
I don't think he has moves. I'm watching this.
I think he's a victim of some bad shadows.
I think his chest actually is fairly defined.
I'm thinking of the...
I'm also jealous.
Dude, by the way, I will give Clayton
All at the
Kershaw.
same
He
time.
seems like a fun time. I'm looking through the years. That guy is the first to take his shirt off every time. He's clearly embracing the dad bodness.
No,
of it all.
there's also something about there's certain men where there's always a guy who takes his shirt off. I'm not friends with guys like that, but am I right?
Well, what do you mean
his name is Austin Capobianco, and he plays club hockey in Arizona.
You mean the guy, Maggie, just not the guy with the great body. You're talking about the guy who might be a little chubby.
Jason Kelsey. It's like
Yeah,
it's the Jason
oh,
Kelsey.
yeah, exactly.
There's
one. Totally.
Is there one guy in every group, or is it a fewer and
Well,
further
you just
between?
know that guy, the Jason Kelce's. There's absolutely that big offensive lineman who takes his shirt off.
Because I know it from the wives and girlfriends perspective, where it's like you walk into a wedding and you just look at the person and they look back at you and they're like, I'm taking my shirt off later. Like my friend, I won't say her name, her husband's like this and he's fine and he's like handsome and he's in good shape, so nobody really cares. And it'd be funny if he was actually like fat or something.
Yeah.
But you just know this dude's taking his shirt off on the dance floor. It's happening.
The guys with good bodies in MLB do not take their shirts off, however.
Jose Altuve.
Just generally, I just think that they're like, I'm not going to pay attention to this. I don't really want anybody looking at how ripped I am right now.
Is that how it works?
I kind of think baseball is, that's why they wear baggy jerseys, Maggie.
Wow. I didn't think about it that way.
Well, yeah. You never thought about that? Like that the guys have always wanted to not really show off their bodies?
I saw Giancarlo Stanton in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Oh, he did? Okay. I've not seen him show.
So, no. I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe I'm thinking like back when I was really into baseball in the steroid era. Like,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, the baggy jersey was a thing, so like nobody could pay attention to what was actually happening.
I feel like those jerseys were painted on.
Yeah, I don't think it worked.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got to go to break
yeah.
quickly. 855-212-4227. Okay, lots more to do, including we do have a quarterback, and we've got some injury news for you. It's Maggie and Pearl.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on this Halloween. We're all dressed up in our costumes. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on Twitter at Maggie Gray.
So this song by Rockwell was, I wanted this in our one-hit wonder. Did it make it? I don't remember.
Somebody watching me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
This is a total one-hit wonder. I think this guy was the nephew of Quincy Jones and had like one hit.
Oh, Quincy threw him a bone?
I think so. Anyway, proceed. I like our who's doing the music today? Is that you, Ryan? Little
yes.
Spooky Halloween mix.
The only one that you guys might not have known is Hip to Be Square.
Oh, I've seen Huey Lewis in the News in person.
No, but it was from American Psycho. That's why I was in the
Oh, that's why you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very memorable in American Psycho. And in the book, he writes about Huey Lewis in the News and Whitney Houston and Phil Collins, I think, was the other one. No, I've seen Huey Lewis in the News live. I'm proud to say.
Rockwell is the son of Berry Gordy from Motown Records, just in case anyone is actually an old school music fan.
There you go. We got a little news for you guys. Let's hear from Jordan Love. So Jordan Love injured his knee earlier this season, injured his groin last weekend in a close win over the Jacksonville Jaguars where he left the game. We got a big one coming up at Lambeau Field this Sunday against the first place Lions. So here's Love on how the groin feels.
Yeah, I've made progress. It's definitely feeling better. I think every day there'll be some improvements to it, but definitely feels better than it did on Sunday.
With that said, you obviously want to play. How realistic is it that you can be out there Sunday?
I think it's realistic.
Okay, says he plans to play this week.
I'm going to take it one day at a time, do my best I can to, be in here doing rehab, get with the trainers, and try and get back as fast as possible.
Okay, more from Jordan Love. How frustrating the season has been, Perloff, because of the injuries.
Injury is part of the game, you hate to see them. It sucks when it happens to you, but it's part of it. So just trying to control what you control, handle rehab, trying to get back, and do everything I can to prevent injuries in the future.
So this is a big one because it's the Lions and it's at Lambeau. So if the best case scenario, would be sweep, but a more realistic scenario is you'd probably split with them. And so you really would have more of a shot at the home game in splitting and winning this one. Plus, you've got your bye week coming up. So there is a little bit of time to regroup and rehab. This is massive. And Jordan Love looks like he's going to be playing in this game, which is huge news for the Packers.
Well, one thing that's interesting, he knows his defense. He saw it last year. So I don't think he needs a week of practice to figure it out. He actually tore them up in Detroit and struggled. Remember, he wasn't good in the first half of the year, and he struggled in Lambeau, killed them in Detroit. So I think he wants to see this defense because let's face it, this defense might not be good.
Because of Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah, they don't have Aiden Hutchinson. Even the Lions, the Titans came out last week and looked like a house on fire. Then they totally fell apart. I think Jordan Love wants a piece of this Lions defense. He did very well against them last year.
Be careful what you wish for, though, because the Lions have gotten a lot more physical.
The Lions, I don't know. The Lions have let up a lot of yards in their last several games. I think this is a defense that can be had. The thing is, you got to stop the Lions.
Yeah, and if you're going to get into a shootout, and Malik Willis has done a very good job, but you're not going to win a shootout with Malik Willis.
He's not a shootout quarterback. The one thing you could argue, Malik Willis can get some extra first downs, keep Detroit's offense off the field, but you're right. It's a huge change to have. Jordan Love out there is everything. I'm not sure this game is so vital.
It's for a share of first place in the NFC North.
Yeah,
you want to keep pace with the Lions, I think, because then you could end up winning the division if things break right for you.
I have a sense that home field isn't what it used to be. I just have that sense in all of sports, but really in football, I'm not going to discount the Packers, as I mentioned, they won it as a wild card with Aaron Rodgers just because. And listen, I have a sprained MCL too. I understand what Jordan Love is going through. It takes a long time. That guy is gutsy.
Yeah, Perloff has a sprained MCL, and we all can see the evidence because he's wearing the world's shortest shorts today. All of your costumes, Pearl, have one thing in common. A lot of leg.
I was wondering what you were about to say.
Coming up next, we got a question about tonight.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
What they look like. No. Tube audience again. Exactly what they look like. No. Tube audience again. What they look like. No. Tube audience again. Exactly what they look like. No. Tube audience again. What they look like. No. Tube audience again. Exactly what they look like. No. Tube audience again.
Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Dave Roberts can hardly watch. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Bueller. Got him swinging! That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! They've done it! They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for!
Steven Nelson, Dodgers Radio, over the Red Hot Chili Peppers, one of LA's most famous bands. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and it felt like a big exhale for the LA Dodgers, and rightfully so, Pearl, because when you have two teams who are playing in a World Series who are both kind of looked at as favorites, right? Both big payrolls, both are looked at as the big bad whatever of their divisions. When a team wins, it's more of an exhale, I think. And the Dodgers rightly deserve to have this exhale because I think there's a lot of people who don't put a lot of stock into 2020 because that season was abbreviated. Every year you have World Series expectations. You sign the biggest free agent to date in Shohei Ohtani, and they got it done. Kudos to the Dodgers. This is all about you today.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a narrative with the Dodgers. For some reason, I felt like something bizarre in the universe happened where they became these underdogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this Perloff math, like girl math?
I just think that there's something about they were viewed as the resilient team, which is not usually a word you use with a favorite. You know, they overcame all. That's all they talked about after the game. Like, we overcame. Like they were just hurt all year. And this is definitely not the dominant team of this era. It's funny. They had something that those other great teams did not have. Some character, some grit that the other teams didn't have. So, no, I don't view it as like the Yankees felt like the big bad Yankees and literally big. I mean, when you go Judge, Stanton, Soto, I felt like that's not like they weren't the same. They weren't. Do you think those two teams are mirror images of each other? They don't strike me like that at all.
Well, not mirror images in how they're constructed, but I mean, you're telling me Shohei Ohtani's not a big dude. Freddie Freeman is a World Series MVP and an MVP, and Mookie Betts is an MVP. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who the Dodgers beat the Yankees out to sign him from Japan. Yeah, I thought this was. They say, two heavyweight fights. It was two Goliaths. And so anytime that happens, I think there's more of an exhale. And I'm not taking away anything from the Dodgers. I think their fans would feel the same way. It's the team. Where's the championships we were promised? We were promised. We have all this talent. And they got it last night. And even with Shohei Ohtani being compromised with a shoulder injury. So it was fantastic for them. But the Yankees...
Wait, I'm just curious. Do you guys view it that way, that this was two Goliaths going against each other, or was it sort of different? To me, they're very different style teams. Like you saw, like the Yankees just like came out there and said, we're just going to outslug you and win this game, where the Dodgers generated runs all kinds of ways.
I feel like this was definitely two Goliaths.
Yeah.
Especially
Freddie
since...
Freeman hit home runs in 5 straight games.
Right.
And they were definitely sluggers on both sides.
And I think maybe, I get what you're saying a little bit because of how this series was played, but I think if you ask the Padres fans and the Mets fans how they feel about this Dodger team, like, they got pummeled, their pitching. The Padres, the last 2 games, the Mets, every game the Mets lost, they gave up almost 9-10 runs. Like, they were hammering teams. I get what you're saying a little bit, but I just think that maybe some of that is just how this series was played, where it wasn't so many high-scoring games.
They gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million this offseason. You are no longer the little engine that could. And I'm sorry that Ohtani got hurt. But
but Ohtani
he's still
got
out
hurt.
there.
Freeman got hurt. Obviously they didn't really have Walker Buehler this year. Like this just was not the dominant. Everyone's going the same way. Like the Yamamoto. Like how many? Like what did he all season long? Like he was not available the whole time. Like they just said really like this was an injured Dodgers team, and they had to really gut this one out. To me. Like where the Yankees didn't do that at all. The Yankees were just like, well, we're going to have to wait and hit home runs.
Yeah, but the Dodgers, let's not totally whitewash what's going on here. This was not the upstart LA Dodgers. Not even close to that.
I'm not saying upstart. I just say like they were not the same as yet. You saw it on the field. Like they were just not doing things the way they were not acting like a big, like we're just going to outslug you and win this game. It's just not how they seem to approach this series.
Well, all right, we're going to have to disagree about that. 855-212-4227. But we're asking you today, what's this World Series going to be remembered more for? The Freddie Freeman heroics, and Freeman was fantastic and historic in this run. Or is it the Yankees implosion? It is not hyperbole to say that 5th inning yesterday was one of the most embarrassing innings for a team in a World Series. Bill Buckner had to wear it in 1986. It's a very famous World Series between the Red Sox and the Mets. So much so they made television shows about it. Curb Your Enthusiasm spoofed it. It became part of our zeitgeist a little bit and lexicon. This is so embarrassing. This is 5 Bill Buckners happened in that 5th inning. And it's everybody, Pearl. It's not Bill Buckner, though.
I mean, that they had the Red Sox literally had the champagne chilling, like they were ready. Like that, this is a way different scenario.
Tell me that it didn't have shades of
Shades, maybe, but Bill Buckner, that was history.
But this is what we're talking about. They're now in that history. Maybe it doesn't top Bill Buckner, but it's now going to be mentioned in terms of World Series embarrassing moments. That fifth inning is now on the bizarro Mount Rushmore, the wrong type of Mount Rushmore of horrible collapses that can happen within an inning.
Yeah, but it's definitely like, honestly, somehow, I don't know that Buckner beats out Mookie. If he makes that play, then boom, we're going home. And like they had the whole celebration set up. Like you understand, the Yankees still had to go back to LA and win 2 more games.
Okay,
yeah,
I understand that, and I didn't say it was a perfect comparison.
Yeah.
But it's now up there.
You actually just said it was 5 times Bill Buckner.
I said it was 5 times. I think it was 5 Bill Buckners. Yes, I do. Yeah, maybe the actual like game scenarios weren't the same. But you're telling me that when Aaron Judge hits a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first inning, and when the Yankees, and then Jazz Chisholm hits another home run, and the Yankees build a 5-0 lead after they'd been dead, and Judge especially had been dead at the plate, you didn't think the series was going back to LA? You didn't feel a momentum switch?
I totally did. And I agree. It's an all-time World Series error, but it's just not. Bill Buckner's, as you mentioned, is like, that's part of the zeitgeist. So you say Bill Buckner, immediately that play comes to mind. You say Aaron Judge, all sorts of other things come to mind.
I think you say Yankees 5th inning in the World Series is now going to mean something. It's the day after, so we haven't had 30 years to relive it. But it's the day after. That Yankees 5th inning is going to be talked about, not just in New York. That's going to be talked about for a long, long time. And it was so apropos. Because if you watch the Yankees, you know they are not a good fielding team. They are not a crisp team. They're not tight, like in a good way, you know? They're loose. They're too loose. They're talented, but they are not fundamentally sound. And the fact that this is the thing that would ultimately doom them, Perloff, is almost, it's poetic in a way.
Yeah. Is it the only thing that doomed them, though? Once again, like, they did go kind of cold in the series.
Oh, they were down 0-3. I
they
understand.
Scored 7 runs in the first 3 games.
But this is going to be the lasting. This is the last thing you saw, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Game 5.
This will be the story, but it could have easily been that Aaron Judge didn't hit if he didn't start to hit. If we go to, I mean, it is kind of crazy. I would think the Yankees are going to look back and say, "Wow, we're paying these guys a lot of money. Like, do we want to invest in Soto? Soto was okay, he was good, but was he really worth?" $600 million in this World Series?
Well, they hadn't been to the World Series in 15 years, so he definitely helped that. But that's an interesting question.
I'm actually curious, like, would they have made it without Soto?
I don't think so.
That's the Guardians of the Royals?
No shot.
I think they just needed him. I mean, I think they just needed him.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, they wouldn't have made the playoffs, you're saying?
You could have argued. They would have made the playoffs borderline in the wild card team for me personally. But he had such a big impact on that offense. He is a key reason why Judge put up the numbers he did.
I agree.
Okay, so you're totally downgrading. Okay, that's a good point. You think, like, so if they don't get Soto, then they're not favorites anymore next year?
I think even if they do get Soto, they've reached max potential.
So I think the funny thing that you bring up, Perloff, we're talking about the World Series last night, obviously. Does this give the Yankees cover to not re-sign him? Because the Yankees, believe it or not, they do have all the money in the world, but Hal Steinbrenner has come out many times to say, I don't think you need to pay more than $200 million to win a World Series. He doesn't feel like he needs to outspend everybody to win. Now, their payroll is high, but it's not the highest. And do you think this gives them some type of cover like, hey, we couldn't win with Juan Soto, so if we get outbid, oh well.
Yeah, I do think it's the Billy Beane thing. I think the playoffs are a crapshoot, and I think the Yankees know that. Listen, I'm here in New York with Yankees and Mets fans everywhere. I was hearing much more optimism about the Yankees. I mean, the Mets coming into this playoffs. I think everyone thought, "Ooh, the Mets are hot." I wasn't hearing a lot of "This is our year" from Yankees fans. Maybe I was missing it, but I honestly felt like, and nobody thought the Dodgers were going to be here. Everyone thought the Dodgers pitching was going to implode. This was not supposed to be like, everyone's acting like it was a fait accompli. There was going to be the Yankees and Dodgers. I didn't hear that coming into the playoffs at all. That was not the temperature, in my opinion. Like that, did you guys say coming this place, well, here we go, it's going to be Yankees, Dodgers? I honestly thought I really thought your Mets were going to come through.
Well, but here's the thing. Yankees-Dodgers is what we got.
Well, I'm saying, but like Ryan's saying, like this was the year, like this was the it year. They were all in. They mentioned that last night on the broadcast. Like, I don't know. It didn't feel like it was such a crazy all-in year coming to the playoffs. It felt like they were a good team. So maybe they can. I'm saying they can recreate this next year. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
But the all-inness happens in the offseason, right? Isn't this what Jerry Jones kind of teaches us, right? The all-in happens in the offseason. It's the Yankees going after Soto. It's the Dodgers signing Shohei and Yamamoto. Like, that's where the all-in happens.
I'm just saying I don't think that it's unrealistic that the Yankees get back here next year. That doesn't seem like it's such a large stretch to me. If you have Aaron Judge, I mean, come on. You're going to be right there. You guys don't. I mean, how many times have the team made the playoffs? They missed it one time.
I know, but we just watched Aaron Judge not do much.
They better get Soto back. That's how I feel. It's like if they don't have Soto and they don't replace him with someone comparable, I don't think this is a World Series team. They haven't been. They haven't been to the World Series this whole time.
I mean, is this team definitely better than the team, say, the ones that lost to the Astros?
Yes. Yeah, it's deep.
Even though they didn't win
lineup.
as many games.
Yeah,
but that has a little to do with the division too. That winning games has a lot to do with, that has a lot of factors for that.
Cole
Injuries.
was better. Yeah.
Aaron Judge missed a lot of time in a lot of those seasons. So did Stanton.
I don't know. I'm looking at this 2019 lineup. It looks pretty stacked to me, but I guess.
But you're talking about degrees here, aren't you?
I mean, like this team looks like a better team than this year's team to me. But. They've had a lot of star power. There's just been a lot of.
Wait, the 2019 team did not have a lineup that's Judge, Stanton, Soto.
Yeah, but they won 103 games, and it just seems like it just seems like an incomplete. The team that I watched in the World Series, like once you got past Stanton, it was the Dodgers kind of were feeding after that.
No doubt, but to say that there was not a lack of star power, that's like just not the truth.
Well, there have been some very, very good Yankees teams that have come up short in the postseason. You guys can't argue against that. It's not like this team is like all of a sudden this was the year. This was not. They had 94 wins this year compared to 100, 103, 99, like 103. This team has been elite, and they're still going to be elite. They're not falling off a cliff.
No, they're not. But this is a big decision here with Soto, and it's going to push them to a place, which is weird to say about the Yankees, where they're probably going to be uncomfortable. Soto again.
We thought he was going to be a superstar. Those teams were really talented, but the path was not nearly as clear. We knew that they were going to have issues with the Astros to even get to the World Series. The path right now is totally clear, you would think, and yet, I don't know. It feels like it does feel like if they lose Soto, all of a sudden they come back to the pack. That's, I think, the issue.
I think, honestly, I always thought of it as like the Astros were one of those Mahomes, Chiefs, kryptonite situations for the Yankees. Like
definitely.
This Judge, they have Aaron Judge hitting 60 whatever homers. Like, they're going to be a contender. I don't think they'll probably be back in the playoffs next year.
Playoffs is not the standard for the Yankees. Just like you would say just making the playoffs is not the standard for Mahomes.
This is their first World Series since 2009. So, yeah, like, It's hard. I'm telling you, in today's baseball, like it's really hard to do something in the offseason that's going to guarantee postseason success. The Dodgers have been spending like crazy for 10 years, and finally they break through. And I think honestly, and it wasn't, again, I keep saying this was not by any means, when you have an injured Freeman and injured Ohtani, this is not the dominant Dodgers team.
I mean, but Ohtani didn't get injured till the World Series, let's not talk about that. And Freeman, it was later too.
Look at how dangerous they were. They used to go up and down the lineup with 30 home run hitters, like for a long time. Like they've had some great, great, talented teams who just, for whatever reason, come up short in the playoffs. This team happened to be have the right path and be really gritty.
But Pearl, at the same time, though, so okay, let's take Ohtani out. He's hurt in this series. He doesn't give you much. And the Dodgers still were competent. They still scored runs when they needed to. They still played well. The Yankees have nothing from Aaron Judge, their best player. What are they? Nothing. They're not even an offense. I think that is the difference, though, between those two teams, right? Is that like the Dodgers, they were able to survive Ohtani being hurt, playing with one arm. Yeah. The Yankees could not survive Judge being inept.
Yeah, that's probably true. And also, they didn't have Freeman against the Mets, and then they just went to town. I mean, maybe how many games did Freeman play? 3?
He played, but he was very ineffective.
Yeah,
because he couldn't run.
855-212-4227. Okay, you can vote on our poll if you want, or give us a call. The question is, what will this World Series be remembered for most? Is it Freddie Freeman's heroics or is it the Yankee implosion? Coming up next, we're going to talk a little college football with our pal Chip Patterson from the Cover 3 podcast. We got some headlines for you as well. Plenty of NFL news before tonight's Thursday night game between the Jets and the Houston Texans. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Happy Halloween, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, we apologize because we look idiotic, Maggie, in the best possible way.
I think you look great. I mean, it's a lot of leg, not going to lie. But, I don't hear a lot of complaints, Pearl, except for how white your legs happen to be. They haven't seen the sun in a while. But, no, I think this is the third year in a row that you're showing off the cans.
Years. That's not a seasonal thing. Trust me, my legs don't change. I'm getting a lot of people are wondering which Eagles coach am I? Wearing an Eagles outfit. Am I Rich Kotite or Buddy Ryan? Yes.
You want to claim Kotite?
I just kind of look like Kotite.
Yeah, you do. And he actually lives around here. We could have probably had him come in with his old outfit.
Oh, boy.
If we thought. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork, and on X at Maggie Gray, where you can see me as Guns N' Roses guitar man / Perloff as the 80s Philadelphia Eagles offensive line coach or head coach, not sure.
I can be any position you want.
Whistle and all. Bogish is a hot take pinata. Give him a hit. You don't get candy, you get a hot take.
Oh, that's the last one.
And EJ is Kendrick Lamar, and Ryan Botcher is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. The last hot take. This goes out to one person and one person only.
It's a long distance dedication.
Yep, it is. We send this one out to former producer Pete Bellotti. This hot take's for you. The LeBron and JJ Redick podcast was good.
That's a low blow.
Pete didn't hate Almond Joys more than he hated that podcast. Like, what's the most unpopular candy that people have?
That's got to be one of them.
I like coconut, but I'm weird.
Candy corn.
I don't like that.
Sucks.
It's gross. Low on the power rankings of candy. But yeah, that one's for Pete Bellotti.
I don't eat candy tonight. I eat Reese's peanut butter cups, which are protein bars. They're not candy.
Agreed.
Totally allowed. And my kids know that I will steal every Reese's out of their bag.
Couldn't you also apply that to a Snickers, though? It's got peanuts in it.
Yes, you definitely can. Basically, if you stop at a gas station to get one of those power bars or something, that's basically a Snickers bar. They're not good for you in any way, except the label says something
natural.
Power bar. Yeah, high in protein. High in protein.
Yeah, we're using the term natural loosely. As a woman, I've been doing that for years, but now for food. Bogish has headlines. Hello.
The Yankees still have not won the World Series since 2009. Some think that's too long. Many others think it's not long enough. It at least seemed like they wouldn't lose this fall classic last night.
The pitch to Judge, swung on and hit in the air to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It is a Judgian blast into the right center field seats. And the Yankees take an immediate 2-0 lead in this must game. All rise. Here comes the Judge.
That's John Sterling on Yankees radio. Jazz Chisholm went back-to-back with Judge in the first. It was eventually 5-0 Bombers, but then their fifth-inning implosion. 2 errors and 1 misplay leading to 5 unearned Dodger runs. That first error was Judge dropping an easy liner to center.
You can't give a good team like that extra outs, so it starts with me there in the line drive coming in, misplay that. So that doesn't happen. I think we got a different story tonight.
His Yankees did retake a 6-5 lead, only to allow sac flies to Gavin Lux and Mookie Betts, top 8. And then Game 3 starter Walker Buehler got the save. So the Yankees lose the series in 5, 7-6 last night, and still no team to fall behind 3-0 in the World Series has even forced a Game 6. This is the Dodgers' 7th title since moving to L.A., their 8th overall, and their first full season crown since 1988. Freddie Freeman, the easy pick for MVP, a 2-run single in that 5-run fifth, gave him 12 RBI, tying the World Series record. The Dodger Parade is tomorrow in L.A. I'm told that Bronny Watch ended last night, so thank you for your service.
All right, here's Bronny with it. Dribbling left. Here you go, Michael.
Come on,
One-on-one.
There
Bronny,
you go.
Two-pointer.
Yes! All right. There you go.
And the crowd goes crazy.
I'll tell you, man, this kid's got a good shot.
Rich Kotite saying that's the most important shot in the NBA this season. Michael Thompson, John Ireland called it on Lakers radio. Bronny's first career hoop came with 2:03 left in Cleveland. The Lakers eventually losing to the Cavs 134-110. The Pacers handed the Celtics their first loss, 135-132 in OT in Indy. And the Pistons got their first win, 105-95 over the Sixers. Tobias Harris, 18 points and 14 boards in his much-anticipated return to Philadelphia. Can't wait for Saints-Panthers this weekend. Derek Carr's back from New Orleans after missing 3 with that oblique injury, and Bryce Young starts again for Carolina, even though Andy Dalton is back to practicing fully after spraining his right thumb. And we are now worried about unencrypted helmet communications in college football. Apparently, Texas Tech AD Kirby Hoke just realized that anyone with a receiver could hear their coach-to-player convos, so he brought it up at a Big 12 meeting. The conference then told its schools to send their equipment to the company for a software upgrade. That gear will be back in time for games this weekend. So you've been hanging out in your ham radio, your transistor radio, listening to Texas Tech quarterbacks and coordinators. Your fun is now gone.
Wait, but is there no way that the opponent could have been intercepting these?
Oh, no, there are easy ways this could have been intercepted, yes.
So, this could be a thing.
This could be a thing, yes. This could have been happening where all you had to do was, find the right RF frequency, and you were hearing everything from the sideline to whoever's wearing the sticker on his helmet in the game.
Yeah, right. So, and what do we know about college football programs? They will stop at nothing.
I just don't understand how it took until now for someone to go, hey, we're doing this on an open signal. That should have been one of the things you did from day one. It's okay, how are we keeping this private? No one had that thought until recently? That it was just out there for anyone to hear? A police scanner?
I've always assumed the Patriots had full access to all the helmets in Foxborough.
Right, but that we thought that took actual, dastardly event or hackers or whatever. It wasn't just finding channel 5.3 and sitting back and hearing Brady talk to whomever.
Of course that happened. Bogusch, that's good.
I'm done.
Bravo to you to
I
being
need regular clothes ASAP.
The hot take pinata. You're not going to keep that on when you do your fan updates?
I am just a hot pinata right now. I give you sweat if you hit me.
I can't wait to see how Perloff pulled off this mini fat suit. That's going to be a fun unpack after the show.
I'm not sure it's as exciting as you think it is.
It's going to be documented on video, that's for sure. Bogusch, thank you so much and for being a good sport. Okay, we turn our attention now to a person we're a big fan of, Chip Patterson. He's the host of the Cover 3 podcast, CBS Sports HQ college football analyst. Chip, you just heard, I think you were on hold for us talking about the helmet communications, apparently on unencrypted lines where anyone could have heard them. On a scale of 1 to 10, how predictable was this?
No, I would say that an 8 is probably how predictable it is. But I'll tell you, my favorite moment was probably earlier this season, a couple weeks ago, Georgia-Texas game. And remember, the rules are if one team's headset communications go down, then both teams have to agree to stop using the headset communications. And in Austin, it's weird. The visiting team, the Georgia Bulldogs, their headset communications went down. And so by rule, Texas had to stop using their headset communications. And guys, it was the funniest thing. Once Texas had to stop using their headset communications, Georgia's were back. Oh, would you look at that? It's amazing that as soon as Texas isn't able to use it, well, now Georgia's is back, so now both are there. So, yeah, am I surprised that things are a little bit that we're getting a little bit into the spy world, especially 1 year after Connor Stallions and everything coming from Spygate? But I do maintain that football at its core is the most beautiful dumb sport ever because you're asking 11 people to do their job on time. I mean, any workplace, any team you've been on, getting 11 people to all do their job on time together, is so difficult. So I understand that football is one at the margins, and I understand why people go to crazy lengths to steal signs and maybe even try to listen in on headset communications. But you still got to go out there and execute, and you still got to go out there and stop them. So I don't think that the overall integrity of the game would be threatened by someone having a really powerful CB radio out in the parking lot.
Chip, is that what happened with the officials? Were they having communication issues on that key pass interference play? Is that why they got that wrong?
Why the fans had to throw bottles onto the field and get the play reversed?
That's what. Have y'all? I mean, I'm sure y'all have. Have y'all ever been at a game where there's just too much emotional weight, or just the energy is just too thick? I mean, you had F1 in Austin. Yeah. It was Georgia's first trip to Austin. I just knew something chaotic was going to happen because it was just too much going on with that game. Consider me unsurprised that we had bottles thrown onto the field, calls reversed, and all kinds of craziness because it just seems like it was in the air that night.
Well, speaking of night games, so Lane Kiffin is complaining that Ole Miss did not get a night game for their big upcoming game. Is that a legit complaint from Kiffin?
Yes, it is a legit complaint, but I think that it's his job to complain on behalf of the fans. Mm-hmm. I think he's been around long enough to understand that when you're competing against Tiger Stadium, Death Valley at night, and the decisions are being made by the conferences and the television networks, Death Valley at night, everyone pretty universally agrees it's one of the most unique and intriguing and special environments. I mean, it's the kind of thing that people get fired up to watch. And with all respect to the Grove is outside the stadium. The Grove is not inside the stadium. The Ole Miss home field experience, maybe if Lane Kiffin is able to take Ole Miss on a memorable run and string together. And I mean, this is a program that hasn't even played for an SEC championship since the game was created back in the early 90s. So I think that it is his job to stand up for his fans, but would like to be able to have one of those great primetime big stage games. But I think he's also been around long enough to understand why he ended up getting the short end of the stick when the other option is Alabama at LSU Tiger Stadium at night.
Wait, by the way, is Lane Kiffin, we're talking about they host Georgia in 2 weeks, and they play Arkansas this week. Does Ole Miss have a chance to win these two games right now? Are they even going to be top 25 team by the time they get to Georgia?
I think that Ole Miss, this is one thing that I've actually been thinking about a lot this week. There are a lot of teams right now that are so far from their peak, or they are so far from the best that they can be. Some of it's out of their hands because of injuries. Some of it is very much like their own doing because of performance. And I think that for Ole Miss, it might be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Their offensive line has been banged up. They haven't been able to run the ball effectively. Their star wide receiver, Trey Harris, is out. The Ole Miss team that will take the field against Arkansas is so far from the team that was putting 40 burgers and 50 burgers on everybody in non-conference play. And so it's just I think Ole Miss at its peak has the better team than Arkansas. And I think, Ole Miss obviously as a favorite in that game is the way that the model sees it and the simulation sees it. But college football ain't played by a model and it ain't played in a simulation, and so if Arkansas is able to bring some of that tenacity that they've been able to bring against some of the better teams on their schedule, then absolutely, Ole Miss could be in trouble. But I generally think that Ole Miss should win this weekend in Fayetteville. But against Georgia, no, I think Bulldogs all day. Just because, again, to your point, Ole Miss just doesn't look anything like the team that was just roaring out the gates at the start of the season.
Chip Patterson is joining us, host of the Cover 3 podcast. He's a CBS Sports HQ college football analyst. Let's talk the Big Ten for a little bit, Chip. Oregon, they're the number one team in the country, but are they the best team in the country?
But they've got a great argument. What I've seen from Oregon is something that I like a little bit more than the other teams that are in that conversation, which include the Ohio State team that they beat, right? The thing that we keep coming back to on the Cover 3 podcast is if you don't have the 12-man on the field penalty and you get 4 extra seconds, if Will Howard slides 1 yard earlier, 1 second earlier. If Ohio State kicks a field goal to win that game, how different are the narratives about the Ohio State Buckeyes? How different are the narratives about the Oregon Ducks? But that's not what happened. So Oregon, to me, is a deserving number 1 in the AP Top 25 poll as we sit here going into Week 10. I think that they have a front row ticket to the conversation of are you the best team in the country, but they are not the monster. There are some years when we enter November and there is a clear monster in college football, a team to beat. There is maybe 1 or 2 teams that we look at as the team to beat. I think that conversation going into November in 2024 is more of a 4-team, 5-team conversation. Here's what I like about Oregon, though, where we've seen some inconsistencies with some of those other teams, like an Ohio State, like a Georgia, like a Texas. Oregon's trajectory is more encouraging because Oregon struggles were at the beginning of the season. Their offensive line, they hadn't quite settled on their starting 5, couple injuries along the way. Dillon Gabriel, we just think that because he's a 6th-year quarterback with all this production, he's just going to hit the ground running and keep up his pace, forgetting the human element that he's taking on a new offense, playing with new teammates, and that he needs to maybe get settled. And what I have seen is that he has really gotten better and better each week. I'm going to believe that has to do with getting more comfortable in Will Stein's system because remember, Bo Nix had 2 years. He had the entire 2022 season in that offense at Oregon before he really exploded in 2023. So Dillon Gabriel, if we were to play this forward, his best football might still be yet to come, potentially in the postseason, which is fantastic. So for Oregon, the thing that I like about Oregon and the reason why I am encouraged about them moving forward is that unlike those other teams in the discussion for the best team in college football, they seem to be having their worst footballs behind them, and their best football might be ahead of them.
On the other side of that equation, Ohio State couldn't run the ball last week. Now they go to Penn State. Is this going to be another James Franklin disappointment, or is this the year Penn State breaks through and beats a top 10 team?
If it does, what does that mean for Ryan Day? Oh, my gosh. The pressure that's on both of these coaches right now is just absolutely immense to win the big one, where a lot of the narrative is about some of the way that some of these disappointments have happened on the very biggest stages, the way that you're able to win against everybody that you're better than, but you might fall short. I just think they're so far from what could be the best versions of themselves. Ohio State losing just tackle after tackle after tackle. You mentioned they cannot run the ball, and yet they've got 2 NFL-bound running backs in Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. I mean, thank goodness they've got the easy button that is Jeremiah Smith, where Will Howard can run around, extend the play. Jeremiah's smart enough to be able to find the open space, and then if he gets the ball in the open field, it could be a touchdown at any moment just because of the unique athleticism. I see this one being low scoring. I see this one being like a real grind that's going to come down to turnovers, field goals, red zone execution, and who's willing to take a risk, because that's going to be ultimately what decides this kind of game. With Drew Aller being a little bit banged up, with Ohio State's offensive line being a little bit banged up, I think the defenses win the day, and because of that, it's going to make the fan reaction for the loser incredibly upset, and it's going to make the fan reaction for the winner like, whoo, goodness we got through that, because I don't see a way that either one of these teams is healthy enough or is healthy enough right now or is built in a way to blow out the other. So if you're Penn State, you want to get that thing to the very, very end and hope that the same Ohio State team that came up short in a raucous Autzen Stadium does it again, as you've got that place roaring there in Happy Valley. And if you're Ohio State, you would like to force Penn State to have to climb out of a hole, because Tyler Warren has been amazing, like without a doubt, best tight end in the country. But who's their second best pass catcher? Because you jump off a pretty big cliff when you get to Harrison Wallace, Julian Fleming, the rest of that wide receiver room. So you want to make Penn State have to push the ball down the field, climb out of a hole, because the best thing that Penn State has going for it right now is its defense and its run game. And so if you're Ohio State, like a 14-0 first half lead would be a great way to take control of that game.
Chip, we got 1 minute left. Deion Sanders says Shedeur is not getting the love for the Heisman because people are split on Deion or because they're holding something against Deion. Any truth to that, in your opinion?
No. I think that Shedeur is not getting the love for the Heisman because Travis Hunter is. Because to go look at the odds makers or to have any of these Heisman discussions that we're having weekly on CBS Sports HQ, Travis Hunter is the Heisman candidate. Travis Hunter is a one of one. You know, when Charles Woodson won it, sure, he played wide receiver in a couple games, made a couple big catches, but Travis Hunter is a top 10 wide receiver in the country while also being an All-American cornerback. It's Ashton Genty, it's Travis Hunter, it's Dylan Gabriel, it's Cam Ward. That's the Heisman conversation. Shedeur is not getting slighted because of anything having to do with Deion Sanders, the head coach, and his father. Shedeur is just getting out. It is the most outstanding player. That is what the Heisman Trophy, by definition, is. What is more outstanding than what Travis Hunter has done on offense and defense?
Chip, love listening to you guys on the Cover 3 podcast. You do a fantastic job watching you on CBS Sports HQ as a college football analyst. Thank you for the time today.
Good. Y'all be well.
Appreciate you, Chip Patterson. I'll tell you what, one funny thing those guys do on their pod, they do something called sicko mode, which is they find some obscure college football games to bet on. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that Troy was playing Southern Alabama or whatever it is. And they've got first half over. You guys are sick.
I was always wondering, I saw Kennesaw State lose last night. If somebody comes in with $400,000 on Mercer, Vegas knows.
Yes.
So that is some really interesting things in there. The Shedeur thing. By the way, we got a month left. He says there's only 4 days. I think there's a month left. And Heisman, this ain't done.
You have a dark horse?
I don't have a dark horse. I'm just saying those 4 players are not going to be the last we hear from. It's not done. By the way, Shedeur leads in the Big 12 title game and just goes off, and Travis Hunter gets banged up again. I would totally rule him out. The guy's unbelievable this year.
We have a pick for you for tonight's game. Maggie and Perloff, 855-212-4227. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, the Dependable Player of the Week is sponsored by Depend and the Prostate Cancer Foundation, reminding you that health is a long game and screening for prostate cancer is easier than ever. Learn more at depend.com. All right, EJ, when you pick these awards, you like to go a little off script. So I am assuming you did not go World Series MVP Freddie Freeman. I'm just taking that off the board.
I think he definitely would have gone World Series MVP Freddie Freeman.
But that's too easy. Like, he likes to show off and get interesting. If anybody could have taken Freddie Freeman.
Okay, how about Blake Trinan?
Nah. I think he went a different sport altogether.
Different sport?
I think he went Premier League. No, I don't know.
Were they playing basketball last night? Not Karl Anthony Towns. We can't start just doing Knicks
it's
for all
Dependable
these.
Player of the Week, so we have to include Sunday and Monday night. So maybe he went Russell Wilson.
Interesting here. So the Dependable Player of the Week this week is Walker Buehler.
Buehler?
Yes. Buehler. He arrived last night, and he shut down the Yankees in the ninth inning of Game 5, closing down the series for the Dodgers. I did think it was cool in the broadcast that they were like, this is a tradition of starters coming out of the bullpen. Randy Johnson, Walter Johnson, Sandy Koufax.
Yeah.
And now Walker Buehler. I was like, what is going on here? But I didn't care. It was still cool. So shout out to Walker Buehler, the Dependable Player of the Week.
Hey, by the way, did you see just wrapping up some stuff from the World Series last night? Perloff, you sent this to us. The actor from The Wire?
No, EJ said that.
Oh, sorry, EJ, you sent it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Wendell Pierce.
Wendell Pierce apparently got into it with some fans last night.
Yeah, he said he was hanging out with a Dodger fan. I guess he's not even a Dodger fan himself. And Yankee fans were throwing stuff at him. He had to leave. Couldn't even finish the game.
Did people know he was not that it's ever excusable, but did people have any idea he was the famous guy from The Wire?
I feel like the Yankee fan audience feels like the audience that should know that. I feel like that crew would know.
Right, but he was wearing a hat. I'm just wondering if he was being a little incognito.
Yeah, no, they should know that.
He's super famous. He's a very famous looking guy.
I feel like New
he's
Yorkers
also
love
one of those
HBO.
guys. I mean, you know him as Bunk on The Wire, but he's like, I've seen him in this, that, and the other thing. He's a character actor.
Yeah, he's been
We used to have him on
stuff.
DP show all the time. He is the best, coolest guy ever. A Saints fan, right? Like, he is just like he's a. you read the note. He said, "I'm done on sports." That'd be sad because he really knows his sports.
Well, I just think the biggest L besides the actual Yankees in this World Series were easily the Yankee fans. Between the two guys from Game 4 who, interfered with Mookie Betts, and they were not allowed back in Game 5. We'll see what happens to their season tickets moving forward. Shock of all shocks. I'm being sarcastic here. They're friends with Gronkowski. It's 2 on the nose. But then also with a famous actor who's getting harassed. Yankee fans took a major L here.
Yeah, I know. Listen, that should be the Mets fans taking the L.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. But generally, if you'd asked me who would be crazier coming into this, I might have said, "Oh, probably the Mets fans." But I don't remember any real Mets fans incidents, to be honest. The Jets fans are bad. That I will tell you from firsthand experience. I think that's the worst fan base in New York.
An
area.
Eagle fan telling anyone that the fans are bad is just high comedy. But you mentioned the Jets, so let's move to tonight's game because.
Yeah. By the way, if you think it's bad, this is in New York, right?
Yes.
A liquored up Halloween crowd in that stadium with this team, I would not wear Texans gear.
Oh, well, I'm a little worried for Rodgers. People are acting a little lawless now. He throws a bad pick. Is there a bottle coming his way? By the way, I really hope not. I don't want to joke about that.
I think there's so much hate to go around for fans on that team. They're so disappointed.
Oh, you mean Sauce Gardner might get one?
I think they're a lot. I mean, if they knew who Jeff Ulbrich was, then they might throw something. But I mean, honestly, when there be all the guys are silent, no one's going to have any idea which one is Ulbrich. That should be fun, by the way, a little Halloween dress up in the stand. I do like that, by the way.
Who's going to be wearing the paper bags on their heads?
Just, I love seeing costumes in the stands. That's a good TV visual. Hopefully things stay more positive. You're right. This is, New York's got to redeem itself, and that's when I turn to the New York Jets.
When things are looking bleak, who's Old Faithful? The New York Jets. No, I think this could be a pretty hostile crowd because I know there's a lot of Yankee fans who are also Jets fans, and they might still be a little ticked off after last night. Meanwhile, the Jets are favored in this game. So it opened at, 1.5, then went to 2. Now it's back to 1.5. I don't know. Listen, I get it that when the Texans acquired Trevon Diggs, their Super Bowl odds changed from 25 to 1 to 15 to 1. It's a big deal, and now he's out for the year, and Nico Collins is still out.
Also, it's a short week. That was a very, very tough game against the Colts last week.
It was.
That was 60 minutes of football. In this situation, we've seen a lot of teams this year too. Like if you're coming off a tough Sunday game into that Thursday game on the road, that is not an ideal situation. Texans they've been trying to give away a game. We've been talking about that all year.
Is tonight the night? And if the Jets win this, are people going to start getting false hope again?
Yes,
or
you know they
hope?
are. The answer to that question is yes.
Fantastic job on the costumes, guys. EJ Stewart, Ryan Botcher, Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, who's always with us right here, right in our hearts. Guido's coffee drinkers, you guys are the best. Thank you to Chip Patterson as well. See you tomorrow to finish out the week strong.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.